Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Matters of the Heart and Soul podcast. My name is Janie Charlot, one of your hosts, and welcome to a new podcast episode. We are well into season 4, and we have been doing a lot of talk about healing. Healing is so important. And on today's episode, I am talking about the fight or flight response versus the rest and digest. Okay. And it's so important as I go through this and break things down, is really important for healing, for homeostasis, for longevity, and for optimal health. And so I want to break this down so that you can start to be aware of how certain situations, certain emotions can drive your body into fight or flight or rest and digest. Okay. So, fight or flight and rest and digest are basically two terms that represent the autonomic nervous system. All right. And autonomic nervous system is broken down into two parts, which is the fight or flight or the rest and digest. Okay. Fight or flight is actually driven by the sympathetic nervous system. All right. And the rest and digest is driven by the parasympathetic nervous system. All right. And we know that our nervous system is so important because it is all about signals, it's all about neurotransmitters, it's all about hormones. I've said before in another podcast that our body is a chemical factory. It's a chemical factory. And depending on the environment, the emotions we have, it's sending signals from the brain to the body to the environment on what to do, how I should respond. Should I increase the heart rate? Should I decrease the heart rate? Should I rest and digest or should I shoot the blood to the muscles so that I could run and flee? So everything, the nervous system drives everything. And that's so important to understand. And a lot of it is about the stimulation that we're getting in the environment. All right. So those senses, right? What we see, what we hear, what we feel, what we taste, all of that has to do, it sends signals, right, to the brain so that the body can respond in a particular way. All right. So let's talk about the sympathetic nervous system. All right. And again, that is known as the fight or flight response. So this is our primitive response, right? It's primitive because it's all about just deciding, am I going to fight or am I going to flee? It's really no thinking involved. It's just these two reactions, right? And it's a primitive response that our body have, right? So when this happens, it is because there's a threat in your environment, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say that, you're walking on a nature trail and a huge bear comes out or a huge lion. That's like a threat. That's an immediate threat to you. And your body is going to say, okay, are you going to fight this bear or do we need to flee? Okay. So when that happens, when that automatically happens, the adrenals actually release hormones. Okay. And so your body goes through these changes. All right. And I'm going to list the changes that happen. And this is so important because although we are currently not our environment is not about bears and lions chasing us, right? We don't have those immediate threats. We are a society under a lot of stress. All right, a lot of stress, and we have normalized stress, and it's become chronic stress, and therefore your body stays chronically in fight or flight. And when certain things are turned on because you're in fight or flight, certain things are turned off. All right, which is rest and digest. So I really want to make that clear and why that's so important to health and healing and longevity. We have normalized stress, but that's really not what we should be in all the time. All right. So again, the once you have that immediate danger in your environment, the body's triggered, right? So the heart rate increases, all right? The blood shunts, it shunts to the brain and it shunts to the muscles, right? So you're more alert, right? Because you're going to figure out what you're going to do. And then the blood shunts to the muscles so that you could fight or that you could run and flee, right? So you're going to need the blood going to those areas, right? Because you're in a fight or flight response. Some of the other things that happen is that your digestion slows or stops because the energy, we don't need energy to digest our food right now when we're getting ready to fight or we're getting ready to run. We need that energy to fight this thing, or we need that energy to run from this thing, right? So the digestion shuts down. Immunity shuts down, okay? Because immunity is all about long-term maintenance. Think about that. It's all about long-term maintenance. So in long-term maintenance, we don't need to worry about immunity when you're in an immediate threat in your environment. We are trying to protect ourselves, right? So remember that immunity shuts down when you are in fight or flight. Also, muscles start to contract, which we know that, right? Muscles will contract so that you're stronger, to use those muscles, arms, legs, whatever you need to do in that immediate threat. And the pupils dilate, all right? Also, saliva decreases. Saliva is a part of digestion, so it's going to decrease when you are in a state of fight or flight, okay? Now, I just want to hone in that we are not normally in a situation where we're running from bears and lions and tigers, or we're in an immediate threat, although that can happen. I mean, the world is changing. We're having threats of violence in the workplace. We're having, shooting and guns and stuff like that. So we are in a society where that can happen. And that is when your body would go into fight or flight. All right. If there's an active shooter in your workplace or your school, your body is ready to fight or flight because it's to protect you, it's to save your life. And that is something that we have been hardwired with. And it's a part of our nervous system. And it's here to protect us. But we cannot stay there. Once we are out of that danger, all right, once you're out of the danger, once that stressor is over, it does take a while for everything to calm down, okay? Because your adrenals have just been releasing cortisol or adrenaline or norepinephrine or dopamine so that your body could respond. But just because that stressor is now over, some of those hormones are still elevated in your blood, all right? And again, chronic fight or flight will keep you anxious. All right. It will keep you, just this inner energy of anxiety, always on edge, always having to do things, always having to feel like there's so many things to do, and the body never comes into rest or digest. Okay. So that's so important to understand how daily stress will keep you in chronic fight or flight, and that will decrease your immunity and it will decrease longevity of health. Okay, so let me switch gears just a little bit to the parasympathetic so that we can compare its opposite. And these two systems are really in counterbalance of each other. They do the opposite of each other, and that is about balance. I will say that until I leave this earth. Everything under the sun is about balance. When we go too far to the left or too far to the right for too long, we're gonna experience some type of disharmony and dis-ease. Okay, everything is about balance, and the way our bodies are constructed is all about balance. So the parasympathetic is about rest and digest. Okay, compared to the fight or flight, when we get those receptors in the brain, it's going along long neural pathways. So that's why it keeps us more calm and more peaceful. The fight or flight is quick, sharp neural pathways, and that's why the response is quick. That's why if you hear bad news, you automatically like, oh my God, especially if it's a shocker, if it came to you as a shocker, it was something you were not expecting, that response is like quick because those hormones are traveling through short neural pathways compared to rest and digest. They're longer neural pathways. Okay. So the parasympathetic, our rest and digest, this is controlling our homeostasis, our balance. When we are in this, the blood actually shifts to the internal organs, all right? And it's supplying those internal organs with all the blood and oxygen that it needs. It's not shunting it out, it's shunting it towards those internal organs. So for homeostasis, for longevity of health. Okay. This is a repair state. This is a healing state. This is a relaxing state. All right. And if you be honest with yourself, you look around, most people are not in peace and harmony and relaxed. Most people live in fight or flight. Most people live there. So you could only imagine the hormones that's circulating in the blood and how over a period of time that is going to shut down the immune system. It's going to shut down digestion. So you're going to have, and it'll keep your heart rate increased, right? Because remember, the heart rate increases, the bronchioles actually dilate when you're in fight or flight. So you're going to have, these people have cardiovascular issues. They have hypertension. They have those type of issues. And again, like I said, it takes a little while to come out of that state, especially if you've been in there for a while. So back to the rest and digest. Like I said, this is the healing state. This is the repair state. This is, our heart rate calms down, our bronchioles constrict so that we have more oxygen. We could take more deep breaths. All right. So when they constrict, you could take deeper breaths. When your bronchioles dilate, your breathing is shallow, just like that, because you're in a fight or flight response at that moment. Okay. So, everything's more relaxed. So you got more urinary output, the pupils kind of get more, I don't want to say constrict completely, but just not as dilated as well. And your muscles are relaxed. You're very relaxed. And like I said, this is all about long-term health, okay, in the rest and digest. So it's so important because how you respond to things, your body does not know whether it is a bear or a lion, whether that you're in an immediate response or not. It just gets the signal that there is some type of threat in your environment. So you have to monitor your emotions and your reactions to things. Okay. If you are a person that's highly reactive to things, what people say, what people do, what's in the news, all of that, you're highly emotional, and your body it's not going to know, okay, is this a real threat? Or are they just being reactive to things that is not in their control? Okay. And that's my main point. Don't respond overly emotional, stress, putting yourself in fight or flight for things that is beyond your control. You are literally compromising your health every time you do it. And if you're a person that don't know how to come down from that, you're going to chronically stay in that state, and you're going to bring your health down because you're bringing your immunity down. All right. And you're not keeping your body in a longevity state of health. Okay. So important. So monitor your emotions, master your emotions. Emotions is a huge part of what we have to master as humans to evolve spiritually, because it plays such a huge role in how we can maintain our peace internally. All right. Because there's so many things that's going on, and that's going to continue to happen that will be out of your control. So I'm just trying to give you guys some tips on how to maintain your health through all of this. All right. So master your emotions. Don't respond to everything you see and hear, especially if you have no control over it. Especially if you have no control over it, because you're going to get yourself all worked up, stressed out, and at the end of the day, you still can't do anything about it. So learn to allow those emotions to flow through you, because feeling is a part of it, but don't let it lodge in. Don't hold on to it. Let things go and learn how to let things go pretty quickly, okay? So that you can keep your body in balance. So with that being said, I want to give just a few things on how to stay in rest and digest, okay? How to keep your body in rest and digest so that you can be in repair, be in healing, be in rejuvenation, and live a long, healthy lives. Health is our birthright. All right. And I'm giving you guys, a few insight ways. Remember, our bodies are nothing but chemical factories. And these two things, fight or flight, rest and digest, is major. Every day you're responding to things in your environment, and your body, your brain is getting the signal from the emotions that you're putting out and deciding which hormones to put out, therefore deciding on how healthy your body will be. Nothing's wrong with fight or flight. I think if we're in immediate disaster, immediate danger, we need that. We need it's to protect us. But we 9 times out of 10 are not in anything immediate. We have been in chronic stress and things that we can't control. All right. So, arguing with your boyfriend or girlfriend, wife or husband, issues with your children, issues at work, try to calm your stress. Don't let everything get up under your skin, because it's going to keep you in a stress mode. And this is why we have such high rates of hypertension, cardiovascular issues, digestion issues, and immunity suppression. Okay? Because we're not taking care of ourselves. We're not. We're doing too much. So learn how to rest and digest. So what are some ways to do that, to stay in rest and digest? Number one is to breathe. Deep breathing is so important. All right. Deep breathing. Get some really good deep breaths in. All right. There's so many breath work, gurus out here and how to do it. Just research it. Breathing is so important. All right. Sit out in nature. Sit out in nature because it slows you down. Nature just is. Nature is not trying to be anything else but what it is. Sit out in nature, listen to birds, listen to crickets, watch the birds, watch a butterfly, watch some type of animal or insect or anything that's out in nature. Watch it for a while. It'll keep you in rest and digest. All right. Reading is one of the main things that will keep you in rest and digest, because everything has to be calm and peaceful, and you have to be turned inward to do some reading. Okay. Meditation is another one. Can't stress that enough. Observe your thoughts. Just observe your thoughts. Sit in silence. Sit in mindfulness. Do nothing. Just sit and do nothing. No TV, no radio, nobody talking. Just sit and do nothing. And you will be surprised at how calm you can become. And you will also realize how much is happening in your mind as well. All right. Get a lot of sleep. Sleep is so important for healing. It is restoring. Get enough sleep. Exercise. Exercise is so important. Now, extraneous exercise will put you in fight or flight, but moderate exercise, cardio to get your blood going, and learning how to cool down after that exercise will keep you in rest and digest. All right. Talk therapy. If there's some issues that you have going on in your life, talk to someone about it. Get it out. Get it out. You have to release suppressed emotions, because when those emotions are trapped, emotions is energy in motion, trapped in your body, can't get out, you're going to have some health issues, hypertension, cardiovascular issues, diabetes, digestion issues, fatigue, all of those things. Okay. Get those suppressed emotions out. Talk therapy. Let it out. All right. Gardening is another one. Gardening is peaceful, it's quiet, your hands are in the earth, you're getting sunshine outside, and you're connecting with nature. So gardening is always a good one. One of my favorites is listen to relaxing music, listen to slow music, listen to jazz. Jazz has a way of connecting both the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. So jazz is a wonderful way to relax and to bring things at peace. You know, some of the music, especially some of the music that the youth is listening to, is it's high paced, it's keeping the brain just in fight or flight, right? And we wonder why we have so many violent occurrences occurring, right? We got to start thinking about what you're listening to and what type of mind frame that's keeping you in, okay? Do some yoga. Yoga is good. I mean, yoga allows you to release energy, trapped energy in the body, and it's also relaxing at the same time. Some people do hot yoga, which, you know, heat tends to relax the muscles as well, keeps you more relaxed. That's why doing the sauna, at least for a good 15 minutes, you know, a day, 2, 3 times a week, is also good because it relaxes the muscles. It relaxes you. It keeps you in rest and digest. All right. Comedy. Comedy is good. I think sometimes we have to release and we have to just listen to something funny, watch something funny. Laughter is so important because laughter typically comes from the tummy, and that keeps you in rest and digest as well. So surround yourself by, you know, good energy, good vibes, joyful vibes, happy people, because those are the things that's going to keep you in a loving, peaceful rest and digest. Okay. Good nutrition, cannot express that enough. Good nutrition. You gotta have good nutrition. Your body is food is all about your body using it as energy. So you always want to think about, okay, if I eat this, how will my body break this down into energy that it could use? That's all nutrition is about. So have good nutritious food, okay? And stay in gratitude versus worry. If you're going to keep your mind in that same repetitious thought, worry, 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 worry over something that you cannot control, over something that you will have to see it through, over something that you're going to have to allow faith and God to work out, you worrying is keeping you in stress, fight or flight, and your body is going to stay suppressed, immunosuppressed. So stay in gratitude. Be grateful for the things that you have, grateful for the opportunities that's coming up. You know, a lot of people are having issues now, but I think we experience things come up for us to heal it. It comes up for us to heal it, and sometimes we have to go through it and get to the other side, right? So stay in gratitude. Everything that's happening in your life is in divine order. There's a divine plan, right? And go within to see and use your intuition to see which direction you should go, right? But everything is in divine order. So that is all I have, guys. This was fight or flight versus rest and digest, and how to use this information in your life to stay healthy, right? Because health is our birthright. And right now, there's so many health battles. There's a lot of health battles. I think we're going to see even more over the next 5, 10 years, right? I was telling somebody that I have never seen so many deaths, so much illness since the pandemic started. And we have to think about that. Like, we really have to ask ourselves the question, like, wow, what has happened? What is happening? And what do we need to do to make sure we are protected from it? All right. So that's all I have, guys. This has been another episode of Matters of the Heart and Soul podcast. My name is Janie Charlot, one of your hosts, and this podcast is all about aligning our hearts with our minds for perfect alignment. We appreciate you guys. And I do have a masterclass coming up next month, September 16th. sign up for it. If you're not available on that day, you can still register for it and you can watch it later. But it's about creating harmony within. And harmony will not come on its own. You have to make room for it. You have to create it. You have to move things, shift things that's not working, and create the harmony. As you can see, our whole body is created according to balance and harmony. All right. So you could find that link. I'll probably link it to this podcast, but you could find it on the podcast. You can find it on Instagram or Facebook and on my website, guys. So again, take care, and I will catch you guys at the next episode. And until then, lots of love and light and healing.